Welcome back to Stuff with Jon Rothstein. It's time now for our coach's call. Our next coach and our next guest led Auburn to the Final Four last year. The Tigers currently have a 21-2 record this season. He is Bruce Pearl. But, Coach, before we get to basketball, we have uncovered some real, deep, intricate things about you personally, and it's been ignored by the national media for years. Is it true that you really order chicken parm and don't eat the cheese?
Is it true that I did what?
That you eat chicken parm and you don't eat it with cheese?
That's actually true. Yeah, I do order both veal parmesan and chicken parmesan, no cheese.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second, but in addition to having no cheese, and we don't think that Bruce Pearl hates fun because obviously we've seen you on the sidelines, your perspiration during games has taken on a new life this season. It was extremely impressive in the overtime win a couple of weeks ago against Ole Miss. What have you done with the suit from that game?
Well, the same thing I do with every suit that I sweat through, and that's just put it right back into circulation. I've got a pretty good account of the dry cleaners, and fortunately, I kind of sweat sweet, so it doesn't stank. It's not a good look. I get that, but when you're coaching and you're buttoned up and you got a tie on and you're getting after it a little bit. I don't know why we coach in suits and ties. I'd much rather coach in a sweatsuit, a la George Raveling from back in the day, or like we do when we go to tournaments in the preseason, just slacks in a coaching shirt. But I'm not much of a trendsetter other than the fact that I do sweat through my suits.
Well, the perspiration is obviously the downside, especially when you're doing it in formal attire. But I got to tell you, you are a marketing person. You have done a great job marketing your entire career. We saw that obviously at Tennessee, at Milwaukee, and now at Auburn. I got to think that Old Spice and Auburn are a marriage that's a destination for March. I mean, you got to pull some strings there, BP.
Yeah, I don't know that there's many. I don't know that I could sell many products other than maybe just Auburn basketball, because my kids are worth the price of admission. They're worth watching because they play hard and they play together.
Well, let's talk about your team right now, which is 21-2 after an epic overtime win against LSU on Saturday. The most impressive thing to me is the way your team is performing in close games. 7-0 in your last 7 overtime games. How does that happen?
John, I really think it's about our depth and the fact that I try and play 9 guys, and we try not to have our best players, get into the high 30s in minutes, so that when we do get into overtime periods and they're asked to play 5 more, they got a little bit more in the tank than perhaps their opponent. I think that's probably number one. Number 2 would be having senior guards, having Samir Dowdy and Javon McCormick, who have kind of been there and done that, and then having a great player like Isaac Okoro, who just makes so many plays, with and without the ball. I think our team wants to make history, and we've respected opponents every single night, and I think that's the way to beat the people on your schedule you're supposed to beat.
We spoke a couple of weeks ago, and you told me that you don't think about going back to the Final Four because you knew with the state of college basketball this year that losses were coming. You had a couple of losses, and since then, you've had some unbelievable wins in comeback fashion. What do you know about your team now that you didn't know maybe a month ago?
Well, I think adversity, it reveals character, and I think we've been through enough adversity that our character's been revealed. And our kids can play through deficits and being down and, obviously not quit. Now, why are we getting down? What could we be doing on both ends of the floor? I know we haven't played our best basketball yet. I've said it all year long that the teams with the best records in our league can lose to the teams with the worst records in our league. That's not to say the best teams will lose to the worst teams, because I don't know which one they are. We're not as strong at the top. We're not as weak at the bottom. And obviously I think that's very much proved out. We have 8 games left in the SEC. We could win them all. We could lose every one of them. That's just how balanced the league is.
Well, it's now two programs in the SEC, Tennessee and Auburn, that you have taken to the top in less than 2 decades. As you evaluate yourself, how has the rebuild that you've done at Auburn compared to the rebuild that you did at Tennessee?
I think the formula is the same in the sense that nobody should expect more from than expect more from you than you expect from yourself. I think that cultures need to be changed. I think it's almost a culture of compliance, a culture of discipline. We play fast and we'll fly around a little bit, make some mistakes, but the trade-off is we're going to play hard. We're going to play together. We're going to have discipline off the floor. You have to point to 4 straight years of perfect APR. That's the academic performance rating, which is hard to achieve, to the discipline that carries on to training. And Auburn's a pretty cool place. We're a small college town, and the kids here grind. And so our players kind of plug into that, knowing that we don't have any McDonald's All-Americans. We got to play against them every night, but we've got really good players that want to get better. And you kind of put it all together. That's kind of what we did at Tennessee, and that's what we're doing here at Auburn.
Well, no, both places.
And great staff. John, let me just say this: really good kids that want to be coached, and great staff. I mean, I've had great coaching staffs, great fathers, great husbands, great men, great teachers, people that I want to surround my kids with, and that's I think always been the case.
Well, no, and that's obviously the mark of a successful program. So you've made Auburn basketball relevant. You eat chicken parmesan and you don't have cheese on it. You sweat through your suits. This sounds like a movie. If your life turned into a movie, who plays Bruce Pearl?
Man, I would love Adam Sandler to play Bruce Pearl, but man, I'm not that funny, and but he would probably be my first choice.
Final thing, and this is an important part of this show, as you know me, you've known me for a long time. Food is obviously always part of the equation. If Bruce Pearl could have one meal at one location, what would it be? Where would it be?
John, that's really hard because I love ethnic foods. I love Chinese food. I love a wonderful, Jewish delicatessen. I love Italian food or Mexican food, except for the cheese. So I don't pass on many meals. I moan when I eat. That's how good it is.
Well, BP, you moan when you eat. I'm sure you moan when you coach as well. We've seen it. You're schwitzing left and right in every game. Good luck with your preparation for everything this week, and look forward to staying connected as always along the way.
John, it's great to get together with you, and I enjoy following you. I enjoy reading you, and I hope we see you later on in March.
You got it. That's Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl. This is Stuffed with Jon Rothstein. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. Click here to subscribe.